to live a life pleasing to God. And the wisdom of God will instruct us and inform us and enable us to accept the pain in our life and also to see how God is using it and making it work together for good, for our good, and for the good of those who love Him as well.
And so in a real sense, and you would say that there is some kind of spiritual connection that guides us once we tune in with God, that there is really, we can only have access to the Spirit and recognize that we have access to the Spirit by believing and doing the will of God. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, well, I think that once we choose God, once we turn to Him, I think He becomes more active in our lives. But I think He is there from the beginning. I think He is there from the beginning, guiding and leading as far as we will allow Him to. But once we turn to Him, once He achieves the goal of getting us to turn to Him, which often involves allowing us to make bad decisions, allowing us to experience some of the consequences of our bad decisions. And I think there are times when God decides to bring pain in our lives as a part of His effort to get us to choose Him, because His goal is to help us to become more like His Son Jesus, and to become more like Jesus is to grow in kindness, is to grow in patience, is to grow in forgiveness, is to grow in being unselfish, is to grow in being compassionate and kind and caring and giving to other people. So this is God's goal. He wants us to become more like His Son, and He knows that in order to achieve that goal, He's got to allow us to go through some things, to hurt, to be disappointed, to be frustrated, to have some losses in life related to physical death. So God allows and uses our pain and our frustration, the adversity in our lives, and He makes it all work together for our good to help us to grow spiritually.
You know, Dr. Poe, all of that brings me to think about the spiritual. Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart. I mean, I think that in a real sense what you're saying here is that there is a yearning that we have, and especially after we undergo some kind of pain or some kind of suffering, that idea of perhaps if we could become a Christian and something that we really desire to do, that's my interpretation of what you're saying, you know, how it would have an impact upon me.
Yes, I think that God, having put a part of His Spirit in each of us, that Spirit reaches out in us or inspires us to reach out to God, to turn to God, to live for Him, to please Him. And until we turn to God, I think it was one great saint who says, our soul is restless until it finds rest in God. So there's an emptiness in us until we find God, until we begin to try to live our lives pleasing to Him. There's an emptiness there that nothing else can fill. And by the way, let's go back to pain, because I think that the pain that we struggle to overcome, the pain that we struggle to escape often, the pain that we struggle to neutralize through drugs and sex and alcohol and food, the pain that we struggle to escape from is a pain that God allows so that He can use it, He can use it to bless us, to draw us closer to Him, and to get us to commit our lives to Him. So the pain that God allows, it cannot be coped with effectively. It cannot be escaped entirely. It cannot be overcome.
Drugs,
no matter alcohol, wealth, fame.
Okay, very good.
That pain will not go away until we turn to God, and He's the only one who can empower us to accept it and to prosper. Based on how we cope for it in His way. The way I cope for the pain in my life, Dr. Haney, is by trying to live my life pleasing to God. That's the way I cope with the pain.
And which is something that covers all bases. If that is a central idea and a central thing that you're trying to do, no matter whatever happens, and as long as you're committed to that, then you're all right.
Absolutely.
Is that,
absolutely.
I kind of feel that way too.
Now, trying to live one's life pleasing to God does not eliminate pain, but the Holy Spirit gets involved in our daily experience, enabling us to accept it and to be blessed by
Right.
it. Okay. Otherwise, we see pain as the enemy.
Good. Okay.
And we spend our time trying to overcome it, trying to escape from it.
Very good. Of course, let us take this second commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.